If you're talking about enforcing people to conform to behavior that the government believes is the only appropriate type of speech to use, then you're going to have to take that First Amendment and throw it out the window on your way to Washington, D.C. And I think for any topic, no matter how cavalier or egregious, that is the fundamental core of a democracy. And you have to choose what type of life and world you want to be in.
All of a sudden, when a Jewish student is saying, hey, there's an employee who's saying that he's coming after me, he's coming after more than blood because of my religious identity, what are you going to do about it? And then they don't respond. That really underscores what so many, and all too many, I should say, Jewish students are going through, which is this pervasive and systemic double standard when it comes to the treatment of students and then the treatment of Jewish students. And this is exactly why we filed litigation, and it's exactly why the Trump administration has been so aggressive against particular universities.
I have a couple things I have to say.
Good.
Number one, Lenny Bruce was arrested for cursing, but they really wanted him for the substance of his material. They didn't, he was talking about the Vietnam War and segregation and the president and just all this stuff. And he was telling the truth. There really is no cancel culture. Like, the best thing that could happen for your career is someone to say you're canceled. But the question at hand is, what is your intent? What is the comedian's intent? You may hear it one way and take it a certain way, but that's not how they intended. So you can own that you have this sensitivity, but when the comedian has no intention, that wasn't even what the point of the joke is, then go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Totally. Sorry. It's a comedy club.
We went into court and basically said Trump is trying to eliminate birthright citizenship, this guarantee that everyone has thought since the Civil War that if you're born in this country to parents who are here, whether you're on a visa or you're here on an undocumented basis, you're a United States citizen. The court was pretty careful to say there are 3 different paths to getting broad relief. 1, you can file a class action. 2nd, the court says that state attorneys general can sue the president. And then 3rd, and most importantly, the court left open the possibility that challenges under the Administrative Procedure Act can result in a nationwide injunction. So I think the time will tell exactly how extreme this decision is. I'm certainly no fan of it, but I'm also no fan of the rhetoric right now which says end of the rule of law. And I do think there was a kind of bizarre coalition between the hard left and President Trump, who immediately declares victory and says, this is, I can now do anything I want with respect to birthright.
You're right. Well,
when you look at what the pandemic did, I think more than anything, it exposed people that were looking for a vehicle to try and channel their entertainment dollars into sports that we wouldn't have ever considered betting. And as a result, you had some of the biggest national books offering odds on the kind of activities that they would have scoffed at if you had told them 18 months prior that, what's going to be big for you? Table tennis played halfway across the globe.
To put a cherry on top of Todd Sunday, people are still betting $12 to $14 million a month on table tennis in Colorado.
The underlying point of Section 230, which I think is more important, is simply that it says that the platform infrastructure shouldn't be held liable for the speech of someone else, right? If I am just allowing you to come into my living room, I shouldn't be liable if you say something in that living room that then violates the law. That's still on you. That's still on the speaker. The speaker is still very much liable.
I think if we got rid of Section 230, though, what we would see is we would see the platforms moderating all sorts of socially beneficial speech. And so they would fear liability. And if somebody accused a major, a major CEO of harassing his employees, the platforms would have an overwhelming economic incentive to take down that accusation for fear that that company is going to sue. And they'd have almost no incentive to keep it up because they don't care all that much about any individual post because they have billions of posts on their site every single day.
I think political comedy works best when you bring up, when the joke kind of makes everyone laugh, so it can kind of break free from the ideological tensions in the room. I mean, I'm obviously, as you can see from this panel, a liberal cuck, but I do think comedy is great at a joke that everyone can laugh at to kind of bring people together to forget the kind of ideological rifts, that the ideological tensions that have torn apart our society.
My understanding is that opening establishment shot was done on a helicopter.
Yes.
That they come in on Julie Andrews as Maria, who's singing on the mountain, right? And it's an incredible look at Andy.
He's twirling for you. Yes, and the cameraman hanging out of the door. You know, it was rough and ready. It really was.
Coats are flying and everything's blowing around. Yeah.
No, it was, yes, it was an experience for sure. It was a dramatic way to end the movie, I think, as we escaped. You know, we became very good friends, all of us, and we are to this day, we call ourselves the non-traps. We're always talking and catching up. And this year has been really special.